Mexico's high-stakes gamble, extraditions amidst fentanyl crisis and U.S. pressure. Mexico finds itself navigating a treacherous geopolitical landscape, caught in a high-stakes game of diplomatic chess with the United States. The recent extradition of 29 high-profile organized crime figures to the U.S., including the notorious Rafael Caro Quintero, is a dramatic move, reflecting the intense pressure exerted by the previous Trump administration to demonstrate a serious commitment to combating the devastating fentanyl crisis. This strategic maneuver, however, is far from a simple act of cooperation. It's a complex response to escalating tensions, economic threats, and the very real fear of a potential escalation of the conflict. The extraditions, a significant concession, arrived amidst a backdrop of looming 25% tariffs on all Mexican imports, a threat directly linked by the Trump administration to Mexico's perceived shortcomings in curtailing both fentanyl trafficking and irregular migration. The lack of concrete, quantifiable targets in this ultimatum left Mexico in a precarious position, forced to react to ambiguous demands with potentially far-reaching consequences for its economy and sovereignty. The extradition list reads like a who's who of Mexico's most dangerous criminals. The capture and subsequent extradition of Rafael Caro Quintero, a name synonymous with drug trafficking brutality, stands out. Once a fugitive, featured prominently on the FBI's 10 most wanted list, his rearrest and extradition represent a symbolic victory in the ongoing battle against drug cartels. His presence on the list underscores the gravity of the situation and Mexico's willingness to tackle some of its most notorious figures. Adding to the already formidable list of extradited individuals are Omar and Miguel Angel Trevino Morales, former leaders of the notoriously violent Zetas cartel. Their extradition, despite their arrests in 2013, highlights the ongoing challenge of dismantling these deeply entrenched criminal networks. Even from prison, U.S. authorities allege they continued to orchestrate operations for the Cartel del Norte, the Zetas' successor, illustrating the cartel's remarkable resilience and adaptive capabilities. The pressure on Mexico intensified when a temporary reprieve from the tariff threat was granted in exchange for deploying 10,000 soldiers to the U.S.-Mexico border. This seemingly significant gesture, however, raises questions about its actual effectiveness. The potent nature of fentanyl means that relatively small quantities are sufficient to cause widespread devastation, and the majority of the drug is trafficked through official ports of entry by U.S. citizens, rendering the increased border presence somewhat symbolic. Further escalating the tension, the U.S. designated 6 Mexican organized crime groups as foreign terrorist organizations, FTOs. This unprecedented move ratcheted up the diplomatic pressure, raising concerns in Mexico about the potential implications. While the FTO designation doesn't automatically authorize U.S. military intervention, the act is perceived by many as a precursor, a potential first step towards a more aggressive approach. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum forcefully rejected any suggestion of a U.S. military incursion, warning against a violation of Mexico's national sovereignty. Her firm stance underscores the delicate balancing act Mexico faces, cooperating with U.S. demands to address the fentanyl crisis while simultaneously protecting its national interests and resisting perceived encroachment on its sovereignty. The situation remains deeply complex. Mexico's extraditions demonstrate a willingness to cooperate, but also reflect the immense pressure exerted by the U.S. The future remains uncertain, dependent on the evolving dynamics between the two nations, the success of the ongoing anti-drug efforts, and the ever-present threat of escalating tensions. The high stakes involved make this more than just a battle against drug cartels. It's a struggle for national sovereignty, economic stability, and the very future of the U.S.-Mexico relationship. The success or failure of this delicate balancing act will have far-reaching consequences for both nations.